Welcome to another exciting episode of The Energy That Surrounds Us. I'm your host, Michael. As always, joined by my awesome co-host and media extraordinaire, Carla.
Hey, everyone.
So tonight we have a special treat for you all. We have a really super cool guest that we are so privileged to have with us tonight, Russ Kellett.
Yay!
So would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, Russ?
Michael. Hi, Carla.
How you doing?
Well, yeah. Basically, I'm in my late 50s. I was born in West Yorkshire, in an industrial town, a city called Bradford. I was born and raised there until 22 years ago. So now I'm on the East Coast, which is in the area of the North Sea. And there's been quite a lot of things that have happened over here. One of the incidents going back into the 70s was a pilot called Schaffner. And he was an exchange pilot. And the last that the was this pilot saying that he was chasing after a UFO. And basically, that were it. They found the aircraft in the sea, the North Sea, which is about 20 miles from where I live here in Filey. And when they opened the canopy, the pilot, funnily enough, his name as well was William. So William Schaffner, sort of like, wow, so that if you have a look, if you put that incident in, it was like if you Google it, it'll I think, if I remember right. So started investigating after I'd had a close encounter when I was living over in West Yorkshire in Bradford. That's why I was over here looking in the area. But I'll go back a little bit before this anyway. When I was younger, why I got started, I suppose, in all this. And when I was about 4 years old, I was looking upstairs for presents in the bedroom, in the back bedroom, Grandma and Granda's bedroom, like, because we knew that Christmas presents always used to be kept there. It must have been a drop-off point for Santa Claus. That's what we always said anyway. But me and my sister knew, so I was looking for this. I think it was back then it was a ray gun or something. I was only about 4 years old, and my mum and my grandma were shouting. They were downstairs. Come on, what are you doing upstairs? Oh, I'm in the bathroom. I'm in the toilet, lying. Anyway, so I made my way from behind of the bed and we're walking out, of the door, just about to go through the door. And there's a window in front of me. And I'm looking down and I sees this man. Well, I have to take it was a man because he had an helmet on and like a grey suit, like a pilot suit. And there's this silver shape behind. And this is up the back street, just over like the gate. There's like a what you call it, a back like street that comes up where the dustbins used to come up for your dustbins. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, it's Dustbin Man, and I'm thinking he's got an helmet on. It's a spaceman. It must be a spaceman. So I'm looking and I'm shouting, yeah, and waved, and this thing had put its hand up like so. And when I looked and shouted, you know, I'm coming down, I looked again and it started walking backwards, and it was just going behind this silver object, and it started juddering and going up a bit, you know, like so. And then my mum shouted this time, "Come on now, get down here. I don't know what you're doing up there." And I looked, it had gone, you know. So I went next door into the bathroom, and then I think I pulled chain or something, and then run downstairs. And my mum was saying, "What have you been doing up there? We've been calling of you, you know." And I thought, I better not tell her, you know, what I've just seen, because I've been in the back bedroom, and my grandma did say it'll be in lucky Christmas presents. So, you know, so I thought I better not say anything, you know. So
Smart.
you know, I don't know. So the next time, when I came across something, to do with this subject, my dad would have come in from work. He'd been on late shift. And it was with worked with him and some workmates, and the caution going on. And we just thought, "What's up?" Because he had his back to him, what's going on. And they said, "Oh, look, you know, you've missed it. You missed it, Jim." And he said, "Missed what?" And they said it was a UFO. And his other brother turned around and says, "No," he said, "I'd say it was a torpedo." And one of his friends, he cigar shaped object, and says, "Well, I think it was a," you know. So he's telling me mum all this, and I remember magazines every week. You know, I think like Spider-Man and stuff like that. And in books about UFOs and Bermuda Triangle and things, you know. So I suppose I'd got a bit of a loss of my dad, you see. Anyway, we was out. This is like 14 now. And we were playing. So it's like hide and seek. It's called Tin Can Squat, but it's very similar to hide and seek. And as usual, I'd been the first to get caught. And this was where I lived, just at the top. I lived near the top of the road, the back road. And then there was a road that came along. I'd been caught, so I was sat on the corner where there used to be like this big garage, and it had been pulled down, and there were big nails sticking out of the ground. You know, sort of like they pulled it down, but they'd left this big nail sticking. Luckily, I'd just about sit on it and sort of like seen it. So I'm there pulling this nail, you know, in ground and looking up in air. And I looked up again, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And there's this massive big ball, and it were like red and white, and it were all segments, you know, like an orange, you know, the segments. And it were like red, white, red, white, red, white, all the way around. So
Wow.
up. He turned round with the lookout and were looking for the rest of not spoiling it. Said, look, it's a UFO. And this object's moving from left to right. It went from the top of the road. There's like a row of houses, and it were about the second house from the beginning. And it went straight across, slow, very slow. And I mean, it was a massive object. And I'm shouting, look, and so now there's all my friends, their heads are popping up over sort of like garden fences and over walls and over gates and behind one or two of the garages. And all of a sudden then they run and they're at the top of the back street now. And they're watching this massive big object. And one of his friends and his girlfriend, he's saying, oh no, it's a UFO. And I'm, well, what is it then? Oh, it's a balloon. It's an air,
Hot air balloon.
Like a weather balloon?
What do you call it? Like a sort of thing. So I said, no, it's not, because I said, we've seen them a couple of weeks ago. There were about 20 of them. Came over. There's no none of the tethers coming down, all because there's no basket there. So it can't be not balloon. So
Oh, looks like the
Might have
internet
lost him.
checked out. So we apologize, folks. There's just some things we just have no control over. And if he comes back, we'll be sure to continue our episode with him. Let's see. Let's get out of this mode. Ooh, that one's there. That's a better mode. Up here, I think he's
I
back.
think I hear him.
There we are.
You're back. Maybe.
The fun things about doing international shows.
all the way across. My friends were had run across the road. I said, "Where is it?" They were coming back, and I said, "Where's it gone?" They said, "Oh, it went in a cloud." And one of me said, "We're gonna." Well, we're going to was there's a nail sticking out of BT.
Well, unfortunately, it looks like due to technical issues, we may not be able to do an episode as we normally would.
Right.
But this is unfortunate due to we can't control the internet in the UK, let alone in the US.
Yeah.
But so one of the things that's kind of freakishly going on right now is we actually have ice on the ground over here. How about you over there? Do you have ice, Carla, or is it just snow?
Oh, yeah. Thick ice, and it sounds like tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Thursday, we're going to get another ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of ice. We're supposed to have a bad ice storm in our area.
But then they reassured us it was going to melt the same on Thursday. So,
well,
here's
Friday for sure. Friday, at least there's sun.
Yeah. So let's see.
Poor
Were we
Russ.
able to get him back?
No. I don't know.
So one of the reasons I was looking, there he is. Can you hear us this time?
Think we should text him?
Yeah, I'll message him. Let's see. So the subject matter we were hoping to discuss with Russ and what we were bringing him on the show for was he is a ufologist, which means he studies and investigates UFOs. And he was part of investigating a really famous UFO incident in Britain. So hopefully we'll be able to get him on and so we can hear some about it. And hopefully the lagging will subside.
Yeah.
It may have to do with the area too that he's in.
It could be.
And it could also be the weather being so freakish.
The one thing I thought was pretty cool, though, is at our investigation the other night when we were having communication with a loved one that passed on, and we were actually asking him about, do aliens exist?
Oh, yes.
And he said yes. We were using dowsing rods. So they crossed about the aliens when we just asked random questions. Then we asked if the aliens were among us.
And it got
Or have been among us, and it crossed, said yes. And then we asked if they look like us, and it was yes. So that was just like an extra tidbit of information that we were able to capture. That I guess the subject matter wasn't what I thought we were going to turn into, but since we had a captive audience there. It was kind of neat that somebody had brought up the question.
I mean, when you have somebody that's on the other side, I mean, why
Yeah.
not ask them? They have they can
Ask them anything.
yeah, get all
Yeah.
kinds of answers.
It was pretty fascinating listening to it all.
And so the investigation that Carla and I are talking about while we're hoping to get Russ back on was an investigation for Stephen Woodard and Catherine, is it Gonzalez Gurman? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
They won an investigation with us, and that was what we were doing on Saturday night. And so
At Fort Walters Mineral Wells.
And I gotta tell you, we got so much stuff that night that we are gonna be doing so much research to validate stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
We were getting all kinds of answers from, what was it? We had would you say cavalry soldier, possibly?
Yeah.
Frontier soldier.
Yeah.
We had a Native American. We had a, how do you say it? Is it, because I keep wanting to say Morticia, but it's not Morticia, like Morticia, the Undertaker person.
Right. But you were right, mortician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But does all the embalming and all that stuff.
Yeah, and so I got to try a experiment that I've never tried before, which was fun, and Carla got to do a new style of an investigation technique that she loves to do. So
yeah, your human pendulum was pretty amazing to watch. We have video, and we promised that on another show that we'll actually show the footage, because it was pretty amazing, the line of questioning and the responses.
Actually, you can watch the human pendulum video. It's up on my YouTube channel right now. But yes, we will have it in a future episode as well. Hello to everyone, and it looks like Russ is back. So
yeah, Russ, let's try and get him
where
back.
we left off.
Hi.
Hey, Russ.
Hi.
Wow.
Welcome back.
This is going on. Hi.
So, were you always into UFOs as a little kid growing up, or was it because of your incident that you became interested?
Yeah.
Yes to all. Did we lose you again? Can you hear us?
Yeah, you can say that again. Well, I can be back. Yep, everything's working here now.
Okay.
Okay.
You talking, you know.
I think we're losing you again.
I think we're a lot.
Can you hear us?
Right.
We might have to reschedule Russ or
And
pre-tape it.
although Joe says the sound is good, so maybe it's just.
Is it not? So the sound is good. The sound is good for the guest. Can you hear the guest well? Is there a delay? To anyone in the audience, Joe? Joe, do you hear a delay? Can you help us out?
Can you hear perfect?
So unfortunately, we're hearing a little bit of lag, so it may be because of the bad weather here. I guess if everyone's hearing.
Can you put some of those comments up?
Let's see. It might be Langerine. Oop.
No, Stephen.
No, he's in the UK, Stephen.
Not out your way. Yeah, Stephen says huge delay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're sorry, everyone.
Yeah. It just keeps on cutting out every so often.
Yes. And now we've lost him.
So Russ is, for everyone that's just joining into the show, Russ Kellett is from the UK area and ufologist. He's an author. He was an abductee and part of the secret space program. And so we were hoping to have him on here so that we could talk to him about all of this. And it's looking like we may have to reschedule.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, with our bad weather and
it could be a little of both. It could be a little of both because they kept telling us that we're going to have issues because of the ice. So.
Yeah. So if y'all are interested, we can go back to while we're waiting for him talking about investigations or stuff. Irene, I'm doing well actually, staying warm with the ice. How is everyone in the audience doing?
Hey, Catherine.
Steven says I can. Well, Steven, as long as you can hear us, that's what's important.
Our number one fan. Woohoo!
I'm glad you're doing all right, Joe. And Irene says, loved your investigation on the doll. I wish it was longer. We do too, but the temperature actually started to drop.
Yeah. We'll do
Hey,
it again.
Catherine. I bet you are feeling a little chilly.
Arr! It's chilly.
Steven says, let's talk Fort Walters.
Okay. Let's
So,
do that.
totally have our attention with that. So, those of you who have seen, we did lives there where we did the human pendulum experiment. We did what I call dueling
Estes method.
Estes method and dowsing rods.
Yes.
And we had, it wasn't live, but we did do a dowsing rod session in the doll room of the PX, in which we contacted a dear friend of ours who's on the other side and had a really touching conversation. And let's see. Joe asks, did you guys ever use a ghost box?
We used the SB7.
Yeah, I think we used a spirit box for that one. Hey,
For
Nikki.
what one? For what one?
For the STs. Instead of ghost box, we use a spirit box.
Yeah, the SB7, Spirit Box 7.
Yeah. Steven says it's the double STs method.
The double.
Sounds more fun with dueling, though. But yes. So, what the doubles STs method that we're talking about is Carla was on headphones plugged into an SB7, and Victoria, our friend who was there, was also plugged into the same Spirit Box 7, and they were both responding to questions that they couldn't hear. And there were times where Carla would start something and Victoria would finish it, or they would both have different, like, kind of random answers, but still keyed to what we were talking about. And so it was kind of fun to watch. And
it sounded like, by talking to some of the other investigators, that we were saying the same thing at the same time at times.
It did seem like that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have perspective because I only got to hear one part of the conversation, but at least it was recorded.
Yes.
That everybody can listen to and watch. It was pretty amazing.
Steven, you're right. We were all teared up, and it did get emotional in the doll room for a little while. It was a really unique opportunity to talk with a friend's loved one that was on the other side, and to see how he was manipulating the dowsing rods, just words can't even explain how touching and empowering and yet still validating at the same time. It was like, man, and we all got the opportunity to ask questions.
It's just a little backstory on that. The wife was with us, and her favorite investigative tool of choice is the dowsing rod. And so, for whatever reason, when she was using her own dowsing rods, she wasn't quite getting much of the responses when all of us were sitting in the doll room. Just wasn't getting a reaction from the rods much. And so she handed them over to me, asking for me to try. And from that point on, for the next almost an hour and a half, it was like an hour and 15 minutes or so, it was just a conversation with him to her, with different people asking questions within the room, but it validated a lot of things that she's always wanted to know, and then off-topic subjects that we wanted to know, like the alien questions and things that you would think about, like do you sleep or eat, or that type of questioning that we don't know. I mean, that you would just think, do you have to, is there like a process, or is it a regimented day, or is it just, and so the answers we were getting were just amazing. And there was a lot of emotion, a lot of tearing up. But she was ecstatic, just overwhelmingly happy by the time we were done with that session. It was amazing. I think we're going to post that one too as well, right?
Yes, we're looking at getting a copy of that to where I can post it on my YouTube channel as well.
Yeah.
And we will look at getting the double SDs and double what do you call it, dowsing rod session that we did with Chelsea as well. And so one of the things that I'll kind of share with you all right now is, so the doll room is on one side of the PX building, and when we did the human pendulum, we were on the exact opposite side of the building in the poker room. And the Chelsea doll is actually just like diagonal to the poker room. So we were in the haunted house section of the PX building in the maze. And Catherine says, I can post it on mine as well, but I wanted to check with Eileen to make sure she was okay with it and that everyone was okay with it. That's a good idea, Catherine, but if you can post it, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Catherine was there, and she was taking a lot of cool photos too.
I know that I asked Eileen if she wanted a copy of it. Well, actually, she reached out and said that she would like a copy. So I sent that to her today, and she was able to listen to it and was very appreciative of having that for her. But yeah, I think it's like Catherine said, is that we need to check before we post.
Right. Because as cool as it was, it is still a personal.
You need to be respectful.
So, and also just reiterating and throwing this out there for people is the Fort Walters base is a very cool location to investigate. The best thing to do is to reach out to Shauna. She's the caretaker of the building, and she will happily schedule with you an investigation. And who knows, you might even get to see Carla or I there, because we go and investigate there quite a bit. And let's see, what are some of the other cool places to check out in the PX building? There's a room that's tribute to the old Nazareth Hospital, which is where we met Shauna. Let's see.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about the Chelsea, the vessel doll?
All right.
I know how
So
that conversation went. That was kind of a cool conversation.
We will. Let me see. It looks like Russ is good to go. So let's see if we can get him on.
Okay.
And if not, then we'll go to Chelsea.
Okay. Hey. How you doing?
I think your mic is muted. Joe, yes, we are. And we will talk about that on another episode.
Russ, can you hear us?
I'm going to send him a message.
He can hear us, but we can't hear him. He's checking the mic. We can't hear you. I think we got him.
Let's see. As I like to say, folks, this is the fun of having a live show.
Nothing like ad-libbing through a podcast. That's Catherine. Yeah, right. Exactly,
Yep.
Catherine.
Yep, Catherine, she was talking to me about that.
You know, the common link between the shows is you, Catherine.
Hey, but your mic is still working, so don't jinx it.
I know.
Yes, I agree, Stephen.
We can't hear Russ. What'd she say?
She said no. So hopefully we'll get his mic working soon. In the meantime, I agree with Stephen. Fort Walters is a hidden gem of a haunted location. So I'll give you guys a little back history of it. Is in the 1500s, 1600s, while the Spanish were exploring, they had conquistadors exploring nearby in the area. And then the Native American tribes settled in there, and there were plenty of Indian battles, raids, frontier battles, conflicts. Then turned to World War I, where it was known as Camp Walters.
Uh-huh.
And then we go to World War II, where it becomes known as Fort Walters. And Lieutenant Green and Audie Murphy, who are the two highest decorated soldiers of World War II, both trained there. Yep. Audie Murphy, everyone knows, is the most trained. Or not the most trained, the highest decorated.
Right.
The most decorated. And he also was where the worst soldier of World War II was trained. And so have a little bit of, equilibrium there. You got the best and the worst. So, you never know what's going to come out of the base. And across the street from the PX was where the German POW barracks were, where the German soldiers were kept. And so then it sat dormant for a while, and then in Vietnam, they brought most of the pilots who flew helicopters to train there. They built Beach Army Hospital for the families of the soldiers that were there. And after Vietnam, it pretty much remained Fort Walters, but it was decommissioned as a base. However, the Army National Guard, if I'm not mistaken, still utilizes half of the base. So it's not fully decommissioned, but so with all the training of World War II, the frontier, World War I, the POWs, there is a lot of opportunity to talk with a wide range of spirits at Fort Walters and Mineral Wells. So we both truly recommend, if you guys get a chance to get over there, you really need to put it on your bucket list.
Mm-hmm. Because it's not just the base, the PX and the bank. It's got the energy from the Army Beach Hospital there. It's got Cherokee,
Comanche.
Yeah, Comanche, Cherokee type energy there. And it also has a lot of the objects and therefore energy from the Nazareth Hospital in there. So you've got a lot going on in that space.
And she does have objects from World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if she has German objects for the POWs or not. But there is a oddities museum
Mm-hmm.
in the bank building where there's a lot of objects that are from different time periods, and there's uniforms there, and so there's a lot to see and a lot to experience, and there are quite possibly attachments there to objects, Joe.
Yes.
Carla and I did come across a laughing doll, which we didn't get to hear this past Saturday night, but I'm not complaining with what we did hear.
I was just on such a high after what we experienced Saturday night that the doll laughing was the least of my concerns or wants at that point in time.
We tried to get a hold of the doll laugh, but Stephen corrected me. It's the Texas National Guard still uses the back part for training.
Yeah, there's a lot of training grounds and buildings and stuff like that back there.
So, Joe, as promised, the vessel doll known as Chelsea. So, she got her name Chelsea from the fact that if you're a fan of Destination Fear, when they were investigating the Nazareth Hospital, mm-hmm. Chelsea was in the basement in the doll room, and the doll was, I believe, suspended from the air near the wall.
Yeah.
Or might have been stapled to the wall. But while Chelsea was in there, this black mass appeared behind the doll, and it startled Chelsea, and she was freaked out and went out. And Catherine just watched the episode, so she's verifying it was on a chair in the air.
Right.
And so because of the notoriety that, had freaked out Chelsea Layden on Destination Fear is how it got the name Chelsea.
Yeah.
And we have been trying to determine what the spirit's real name is. And we recently, in a conversation with the doll, found out it is a she. She wants her old dress and her old hair back.
Russ?
Yeah.
Hey, we can hear Russ now.
You're back.
Yeah. Just fixed it.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so much better.
It's a brand new computer, is this? So, but I hadn't set it up, you see, so I just realised.
Much better. Okay, you guys are going to have to wait. It's like part 2 of our investigation. We'll be on another episode.
Oh, dear.
Sorry to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
Yay.
We were looking forward to talking with you about your UFO investigations, your
Yeah, well,
Catherine. Yay.
have we got how long have we got? About 5 minutes now.
Yeah.
well, we can go a little bit longer, but not too much long. But one question I would like to ask you from your experience, is there like a certain energy or like a resonance vibration you feel when the UFOs are around?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You can sense, sort of like you can actually sense that they're around. So much that when I've got my camera with me, sort of like I'll just turn it around and start filming. And if you have a look on, I think it's, I'm just trying to think now whether it's Flying Saucer Television or UFO Paranormal TV on YouTube, you'll see some of the videos that I started going out and videoing these things. I said to my friend, "Oh, you're always seeing things and filming," I said, "Oh, yeah." And my other friend said to me, he said, "Well, that's because you haven't got a camera." He says, "Why don't you get one?" So I started going out with a video camera with night vision and what have you, and filming. And when I was with a friend who was disabled in my group, and I said to him, "Here, Keith, do you want to have a look?" And I'm handing him the camera. And as I'm handing him the camera, there's a flash, and I can feel this power going down my body and back up it, And so I said, "Give us camera back a minute," And I carried on filming this UFO. And when I went in the house, excuse me, I'm all bunged up with flu. But when I went back in the house and rewound the video, the tape, you can see me getting zapped by 6 balls of light come down in one flash in a split second. I think it's like 60 frames a second, 60 frames a minute, I should say. And you can see that there's these balls of light coming down and moving up where the lens is. And I'm at the end of the lens. You've got to remember that. And it's a quick flash. And there is a sound. And I had somebody, basically saying, "I've seen that video. It's rubbish. You've turned the night vision on, and that's what the noise is. There's like a click." And I said, "No," I said, "because if you have a look, the night vision's already on. I'm filming in night vision." "Oh, well, it's been turned off." And I said, "Well, no, because if you have a look, the night vision's still on." You'll always get, they're not skeptics and they're not debunkers, they're haters. So that's one, me getting zapped. Then I filmed what in 2000, it looks like a man falling out of the sky, called Flying Man or Ejector Seat. But that actual object flew across the sky where I was stood, and my friend were looking out of his door, and he had binoculars, and it came down. The next day I went and had a look for the object, and on 2 photographs I've actually got a flying triangle looking around this area where it came down. then on YouTube, I've filmed 2 flying triangles come out at sea, out of the bay here where I live, and take off. And I film it for like 20 minutes. At first, I thought it was one of those. I said B-52 and I meant B-2 bombers, because people are supposed to be in the know have said that they can basically do some incredible things, these B-2 bombers. And I've heard all sorts of, they can almost hover and all sorts and go real, I don't know. You always get them, don't you? And so I'm thinking, well, could it be, one of these, exotic spacecraft? And when I'm filming, when I'm looking, and I'm taking my eyes off the ball looking, and I can't believe what I'm seeing. And I'm witnessing 2 flying triangles side by side coming out of the bay. And there's a road right next to where it's coming out of the sea. And it can't be more than 200 feet away from the side of the road. Oops. And I filmed that for 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And all the time I was filming that, there were things coming down and trying to connect with it and what have you. Because I started filming these other things that were coming down out of the sky. And then I went missing for an hour. When I came in, sort of like, my mum and my sister were, where have you been? It's been a long time, You said you're going out for an hour. I've been out an hour. Ooh, yeah. My friend, he came for an holiday down the road, which is where I told you where this aeroplane went missing and landed in the sea, and the pilot disappeared. About 10 miles the opposite direction, lower down, he's filming up here, and he films a ball of light, and then a second ball of light appears, and 2 flying triangles come out of the night sky, as in coming out of the clouds, because there were low-level clouds. So this ball is very bright, and it's below cloud level, and then these clouds are just above, and these 2 flying triangles just come down. One goes back up into another bank of clouds, and this other flying triangle actually rams into this ball of light. Actually rams it like so. And this ball of light moves back like so. And then it takes off, and it goes to smash into it, and it moves out of its way again. And then the flying triangle goes back into clouds. And then all of a sudden, some more balls of light turn up and go into this craft.
Wow.
Sort of like a red ball of light turns up and goes inside it. And as it comes down, and he's filmed this for an hour. This is a friend that were in my group. And as it comes down now, low to the ground, like rockets shoot up to it. People are saying, did you see that? Did you see that? I said, yeah. So right underneath, just as it's above, these objects come up towards it like so, but they don't touch it. They sort of like fade out. So people say that have seen the actual objects. Could have been ground-to-air missiles. There's a school of thought that says, could there be people that have been abducted? Could the ball of light been hanging around and it's been ready to abduct people? And is that what the flying triangle were doing? Were it trying to attack? Because there's no doubt that it's an actual dogfight in the sky.
Wow.
Just where I live, just outside where I live here, East Coast.
That's amazing.
So I'm
So these are the
curious.
cases that I've been working on. When I moved around here 20 odd years ago, I was already coming over here, listening to people telling me about this area. And I'm filming it myself. I mean, the thing is, it's like you get researchers and they're researching other people's information. Half the time they get it wrong. I've heard researchers on television, I was just saying today, which really sickens me off quite a lot, where they're in these big groups and they've got people on talking on a chat show and they're abductees. And these people, turn around and say, oh, well, we don't believe in abductions. You take the money from the groups, don't you? You know what they pay to join, but you don't believe. Yeah, make me
Yeah.
sick. These people will never see anything. They'll never know anything. You know what I mean? Simple as that. They're
It's
not
all about
chosen.
money.
They're not chosen.
So I'm curious. Do you think the craft that you saw were reverse engineered or engineered from, say, like places like Area 51, or do you think they're intergalactic from like Venus, Mars,
The
Saturn?
problem is there is no shred of evidence whatsoever that there's any reverse engineering being done in America or anywhere else for that matter. There's not a shred of evidence, not a shred of evidence whatsoever.
Uh,
I mean, it's like it's just hearsay, isn't it? It's a theory. I can only give you factual evidence and tell you about what's happened to me, and like when I've been abducted and put into a military unit, and what we've been made to do, and there's a war going on. It's not only sort of like different planets. It's on this planet. It's going on now all around. And you won't hear about it because of the media. The media won't touch it.
no.
Yeah.
I don't know whether obviously, we had this 3 years of nonsense about this virus. And I said, if there was a virus, right, yeah, it was definitely what Trump said. And it was basically set off by the Chinese. Simple as that. There's no getting away from the fact. If it was a virus and what have you, sort of like, what a premise to go to war when somebody's attacked your country. You know what I mean? And my country. And instead, what I've got a prime minister wanting to go to war with Russia over something that nobody's done. I haven't done anything in my country. But yet we know for certain that there were Chinese involved in this, this chemical, biological warfare. And what just let more people in and spread it. There's more going on in China and it's spreading. And have they stopped anybody from coming into this country? No. These people, how do the minds work? We had a guy who was injected and he was poisoned with like nuclear chemicals or whatever years ago in this country when by Russians, and I know that what they call them, Venko or something, and they never went to war then. You know what I mean? And again, a reason to go to war if you've done something like that in somebody's country, and there were like nuclear, sort of like, sort of like this, after effects around the area. Sort of like which you could pick up radiation and what have you. But yet we'll go to war when they haven't done anything because they're arguing with the next door neighbour's country.
Yeah.
Ludicrous, you know what I mean? Anyway, sorry. But it's like you're not getting any news. We've had no news in this country for about 7 years. You know, we were talking the other day. You know, a lot of people in the 60s and 70s are saying that what's the news? We don't have news. Not like we used to. And you used to sit down and watch news. You don't see any news. The only news is it's bad news, and it's, you know what I mean.
Right.
But like I say, you know, I'm going around in circles. But you know, you're not going to find out in America or over here what's going on until it's too late, and it's almost too late.
Right. So I'm just curious, when you mentioned you're part of the secret space program, or you were a part of it, were you stationed off-world or were you stationed here on Earth?
Both. There's a planet, I won't mention the name of the planet, the aliens that take me, that's where basically the base is where I was stationed. And also there's places on this planet also. But there's so much going on. There's so much going on. It's like each government has like maybe 2-3 factions, and they're supporting different aliens, different alien races. And you just know about, you've only got to listen to what's going on in politics, where there's people not doing as what they're supposed to do, right? Yeah, by law, and they're not adhering to the way that they're supposed to, you know, sort of like basically to promote themselves and to do the job what they're doing. In other words, it's all about money, and it's about millions of pounds, and that's what we've got happening over here at the moment. So the thing is, you know, how many people in the government are taking money, right? Yeah, and what are they taking money from and for? So when you know that, you know, you're thinking to yourself, these are the people that have been put in power. They're no better than anybody else. And if they'll do this, and normally somebody would get sort of like at least 5 years for what they've done, but nothing's going to happen to them because they're above the law. So when you know that that's happening, and there's all the other things that are happening, and nobody's accountable for what they're doing in government, you think to yourself, what else is going on? I know what else is going on. And that is that, you know, they're allies with an alien race. So you might have a country that's different factions, allies with maybe 3 alien races, just like my country as well. Mm-hmm. And what are they getting from it? You know, what are they getting from it? Originally, if we go back to Eisenhower, when he was supposed to, I mean, is it true? Did he sell everybody out? You know, this is a big question. Did he sell everybody out? Did he turn around and, you know, sort of like say, you can take a quota of humans for this and for that and for something else? You know, which is it's a worry, because, you know, if your president's done something like that, you know what I mean, been fighting Nazis, you know what I mean, sort of like, you know, better than them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And what they're doing, what, you know, if they're taking all these people, what are they doing with the people that they're taking? I know what they're doing. I know they're putting, you know, people like me and other people into military units. And there's the others, what are they doing with them? Using them as slaves, food. You know? They're not just taking them on holidays, are they? They're not saying, oh, come over here, come on, you know, you can come for an holiday with us. I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's like when you're abducted, like I said to somebody the other day, You know, it's like 15 years. You abduct somebody, take somebody without consent, you get like 15. Lucky if you got 15 years for murder these days, but you know what I mean? It's like taking somebody against the will.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, what is it for? You know, and I hear all these people, you know, happy clappies. Oh, they're here to save the world. Well, they're not doing a good job, you know what I mean? Sort of like we had 2 world wars. You know what I mean? There's a third one on its way. You know, you'd think they'd pull the finger out and start saying, well, look, let's have enough of this. You know, but they're not. Nowhere to be seen.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
So this is kind of on a lighter note. Since we know that there are aliens, do you think that they're here walking among us?
Oh, of course they are, yeah.
And do they look like us?
You see my sister.
Dun dun dun.
Do we want to see your
No.
sister?
Somebody's going to get slapped upside the head here.
Girlfriend's definitely an alien.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was such a simple question.
Oh dear, only telling the truth. Yeah, no, they're around. Yeah.
But do they look like us?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah. Some do and some don't.
Okay.
Some cover it, you know, quite easy. You know, but you know, I mean, where do we come from? You know, we're talking about other people being aliens, so, but you know, where do we come from?
Yeah. Can they shapeshift?
Oh hell, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, I was talking about shadow people. I've seen your advertisement on about shadow people.
Mhm.
We're shadow people. My unit are shadow people.
Really?
Interesting.
Oh yeah, yeah, because it's the technology what we use, right? When we get into trouble, if we get, you know, sort of like if there's heavy fire and somebody's laying a lot of fire down at us, and we're having a problem, you know, sort of like, and we need to get out of there. On my uniform, I'll turn the dial and press a button, and I'll disappear, right? Yeah, to the naked eye. But there's what you call a signature left behind, and that is me, the outline, a silhouette. Now, what we can do is, the reason why we do this, we can hightail it, get out, if we sort of like in a forest, go through trees and get out, if you see what I mean, and we can go through solid objects. So it's a slow form of teleportation, if you see what I mean, because it is like it's a teleportation system, but it's slowed down so you can go through solid objects to get out. You know, goose get out of easy. You know what I mean? So like, and then once you're away from the enemy, you know, sort of like you can, you know, call, you know, for backup and sort of like, or get out of there, you know, sort of like basically use the other teleportation system to go back to base. That's if base are going to let you, or unless they say, you know, you stay down there and you know, sort of like you fight out, you know, to the end, do what you're down there to do.
So help me understand. So now I'm kind of blending two different worlds here. Is there a possibility that when we go out and do investigations in remote locations and we see shadow people or some type of entity that we can't describe, could it possibly be an alien that we're seeing and
Right.
not a spirit?
Just depends if there's some kind of underground base there. But it is, like I say, that what you're seeing could well be us, or I say us, another unit,
Yeah.
because they're not the only alien race that use that either, use that system.
Right. I just was kind of trying to draw some type of connection. Like what we go into an investigation for might not be really what we're experiencing necessarily.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you might be stepping into deep water. You know what I mean? I mean, the thing is, seriously, right? Yeah, I was talking about this on BBC Radio some years ago, and they were talking about abductions and people disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to them that there was, I think it was about 160,000 people that had gone missing the year previous.
Mm-hmm.
And the host of the show said, "Oh no, I don't believe that." And I said, "We can find out." I said, I rung up and I said it was like 160,000 last year. So one of their researchers got on and had phoned Missing Persons Bureau or whatever. And she came back and she said, "No, it's actually more this year." The year before I'd said, not the last year, but the year before last. She turned around. She says that we can't give you the statistics for this year because it's not the full year yet. You know what I mean? But we can give you last year's.
Mm-hmm.
And she said last year there was 180,000 people went missing. And this is in my country. This is an island, right? Yeah, and this is 10 years ago. This is 10 years ago. Now, the numbers last year was 250,000 people went missing.
And are these people gone forever, or are these people that reappear later?
Well, you don't know, do you? That's a problem.
Well, probably that would explain our voting system.
Precisely, yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, but it's scary, isn't it?
It is.
It's where are the people? I mean, what she said was, well, she says they come back the next day, and I says no. I said because if your researcher would have told you the full story, you've got to be missing for 72 hours before you're registered as missing person.
Right.
You see? So it's like how many people are actually found?
Yeah.
And it is frightening. It's frightening. Because the thing is, every year the numbers don't drop. So it's like, where are all the people? And we're talking about some young children as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's frightening, but nobody's that concerned because if it doesn't concern you, doesn't matter. It's only when things start concerning people, it's like crime or whatever, or sort of like no jobs and what have you, sort of like bills and out of control, then people start talking.
Right.
But unless it concerns them, they don't really bother.
So I have an interesting theory question for you. The cryptids that I'm sure you probably heard about in the paranormal community, are those just interdimensional like beings or aliens that are here and gone and we get a glimpse and so we interpret them as being here but they're not really here?
Well, let's put it this way. When we travel, like I said to you before, there's like two like balls of energy, like crystal balls. And then what happens is these tubes come up out of the ground in our base when we're going on a mission. And they come up, and on the top, there's like one at the left hand side, one at the right hand side. And there's these like crystal balls, and the power comes from the bottom all the way up these tubes or pillars to the balls. And then when it's powered up, the tubes go back into the ground. We cup our hands over the top, or we used to. We don't no longer but we used to. And that would take us straight through the doorway. And we would end up at this destination, wherever we've been sent. Now, if you look on a lot of these programs on the television, I've been watching one tonight about Bigfoot and cryptos and what have you. And there's always balls of light seen in the forest. They can see these balls of light, can't they? There's always usually two balls of light. That's us traveling. When you see those balls of light, that means that usually we've actually arrived at our destination, and those balls are going back, right, to our base in a split second. Like so, later on, they don't do that. They're going to backpack at the side later on. But when I was first taken 20, 30 years ago, they went back to base. And then when we were getting out of the area, they'd come back within split seconds and take us back to base, to headquarters. So I can see similarities there. Again, by people saying, look at these balls of light, and then when they get to the balls of light, then they've disappeared. Well, that's either because they've gone back to base, or there might be an underground base there. And all the time I'm hearing people saying that there's underground bases in these areas where, these Bigfoots are living, or where something what I can't understand is, I'm a big lad, and I've seen some of these, they say, right, this is where the bed down for the night and what have you, and they've got like a shelter, and I'm thinking something what's supposed to be like 10 foot tall is in that. You know what I mean? To me, it don't make any sense. I'm thinking, How does it get in? How does it get in there? I couldn't get in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just, wow.
Yeah. When you mention underground bases, are those connected to the Hollow Earth and like with the ant people, or is that something totally separate?
Well, yeah. You've got to look at the total history of this planet, right? Yeah, and when you're looking at some people say the Bible, Talmud, sort of like other religions, and see where it all started from. By these giants, these gods coming down, and and then basically destroying the people and the planet. I remember I got the cane for asking a question. Religious education, and she just told us about Noah and Ark and everything, and sort of like animals going in 2 by 2, and I said, have I got this right, miss? But what are you saying? That he doesn't like us, and he's killing us all as well. And the teacher turned around and says, go to the headmaster's office and get the cane. No, but what for? Why? sort of like I've asked a question, and the thing is, at the end of the day, right? Yeah, God has been trying to get rid of us since day one. Yeah, the floods were there to drown us all. It won't rid of us. Sort of like, and getting the cane for asking a simple question like this, absolutely disgraceful. But so it's a case of all the time, it seems like all around the world, no matter, everybody in different religions seem to believe the same thing, that their gods had sort of like sent down wrath upon us, right? Yeah, to get rid of us. And some people went and tried to go into caves and sort of like these tunnel systems, and so that could be the thing. If it didn't only happen over here in this country, in America, Europe, Asia, Africa, that means that would the people have all done this, had the same, sort of like instinct, sort of like, and to go and to build, dig and go underground. I mean, the same people, if you look at it, all around the world have built the same structures, which are pyramids. Whether it's in, South America, Africa, Europe, Eastern Europe, England, China, Russia, they're finding pyramids. So again, there's a link there. So the thing is, yeah, they probably have. I know that there is underground bases. Believe me, there is underground. There's one just where I live here, where the two flying triangles come out of the sea, out of the bay. They're not coming out of the bay for nothing, have they? They've been, sort of like doing something under the sea. So yeah, the answer is yeah, that there is definitely people. There's other civilizations that are supposed to have been lost. There's not only, what did they say, Atlantis. What's that other one called? Is it Mu?
Mu and Lemuria.
Yeah, and then there's another place, this mystical place near Ireland that pops up every 7 years or whatever. That's a place, a mystic, sort of like Ireland that does that. I forgot the name of the damn. I forgot the name of it now. But
sounds like Avalon, but I know it's not Avalon.
No, it's not. That's supposed to be here, Avalon. Isle of Apples and what have you. Somebody had connected it with that had contact and they'd drawn a load of circles and they said it had something to do with that or something. Brazil, is it? Brazil, I think. Brazil, that's the one. Yeah, Brazil.
Okay.
But,
well, I hate to cut you off, Russ, but we're actually
no problem.
Like half hour over.
I'm sorry about the problem. Obviously, this computer's better than the one I was using.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we appreciate you hanging in there with us and getting it fixed. And we will definitely have to have you come back on and continue this because this is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I never told you the start of it, where else? Anyway, never mind. But thank you for having us on, Carla.
Sure.
Yeah. So where can people go to see your stuff and your books?
You can go to Amazon. I've got a book out called E.T. Rider and one called Alien Invasion Wales. And if you have a look for us on, I think, Flying Saucer Television and UFO Paranormal TV on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel there, and it shows you all videos what I've filmed, and a couple of my friends have filmed some good stuff as well.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back.
Yes.
Looking forward to it, and like I say, sorry about the problems what I had there.
It happens.
Yes. It's the fun of having live shows.
That's right. It's all good. It's all good.
It is. It is. But thank you for having us on your show. It's been great.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too.
Good night. God bless.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switching gears every few minutes. That's okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It got real interesting at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, Matt, you just caught us wrapping up. We're just finishing. You'll unfortunately have to catch it in the replay.
Yeah. Good night, Catherine. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Good night, Catherine. And Stephen, thank you for coming in and chatting. And to all our guests. And with
viewers,
everything that's going on, we actually will be off next week as I will be on a mini vacation.
Well deserved. Well deserved, sir.
Thank you. As long as weather holds.
Then we will be back next week.
Yeah. If we get iced in, yep, you might see us next week.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Yeah.
But
it's all good.
Let's see. And then
when I come back from
vacation,
Valentine's Day, right?
I'm sorry?
I said, I think we come back on Valentine's Day, right?
We do.
Little hearts. Little hearts.
The guest for that show, if you haven't caught it, is actually the host of Paranormal Versus, which I am co-host of every other Thursday. So
that'll be cool.
That'll be fun to have both people that I co-host with in one show.
It'll be a fun show.
I'll be outnumbered 2-1, so that ought to make it real fun.
Even better.
I will definitely be kept in line for that show.
All righty. Well, you have an excellent vacation next week.
Thank you.
Take lots of pictures.
I'm sure I will. Yep, Catherine, it's going to be a party. Hello, Howard.
Hey, Howard.
Howard is the host of the Petri Dish, if you want to catch that on our network. And so I will say good night from our show.
Yep.
Have fun, be safe, and always make sure you log that evidence because you never know what you're going to find.
I figured you were going to say something like, always look to the stars or something.
Well, you know,
yeah,
I could do, you know, I don't know if it's copyrighted and if I can say it, but the Kid Craddock show always had a really cool send off.
Which is?
Keep looking up because that's where it all is.
There you go. That covers a lot.
Yeah.
All the energy that surrounds us. Dun, dun.
So keep your eyes open and keep your energy fields, you know, intact because you never know what's around you. Good
Have
night,
a good
everyone.
night, everyone. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Good night.
Good night.